A king's greed, a god's gift, a golden curse. The myth of King Midas has fascinated people for centuries. Today we explore why this story of wealth and woe still matters. The deadly price of King Midas's golden touch starts now. Our story begins in ancient Phrygia, a kingdom in what is now modern-day Turkey. Midas, son of Gordius and the goddess Cybele, sat upon the throne. He was known far and wide for his immense wealth, but his appetite for riches knew no bounds. Midas, according to Pausanias, founded the city of Ankara, now the capital of Turkey. Various ancient sources disagree on his family life. Some say he had a son named Anchurus. Others speak of a bloodthirsty offspring called Lityerses. His demise, too, is shrouded in conflicting accounts. Some claim he committed suicide by drinking ox blood, while Aristotle wrote that he starved to death, unable to eat due to his infamous golden touch. Our story begins with a drunken wanderer stumbling into Midas's kingdom. This was no ordinary reveler, but Silenus, the foster father and mentor of the god Dionysus. Silenus, known for his love of wine and revelry, had drifted away from Dionysus's entourage in a state of inebriation. In some versions of the story, Midas had intentionally lured Silenus to his palace, either by filling a spring with wine or creating a wine fountain. Whatever the case, Silenus ended up in Midas's court, where the king, recognizing the divine nature of his guest, treated him with great honor. Midas, already initiated in the mystic rites of Dionysus, had met Silenus before. They were old acquaintances, and to please his guest, Midas threw an extravagant feast lasting 11 days. When the festivities concluded, Midas personally escorted Silenus back to Dionysus. The wine god, overjoyed at the return of his beloved companion, offered Midas a reward. "Ask for anything," Dionysus said, "and it shall be yours." Midas, his eyes glittering with avarice, didn't hesitate. "Grant me this wish," he said, "that everything I touch may turn to gold." Dionysus, with divine foresight, knew this wish would lead to disaster. Yet, bound by his promise, he granted Midas his heart's desire. As Midas departed, filled with glee, Dionysus watched him go, saddened by the misfortunes he knew would befall the king. Midas could hardly contain his excitement as he began to test his new power. At first, he was cautious, almost disbelieving. He plucked a twig from a holm oak. Instantly, it transformed into solid gold. Emboldened, he picked up a stone, again, pure gold. A clod of earth, grains of wheat, an apple, all turned to precious metal at his touch. Returning to his palace, Midas marveled at the golden trail he left behind. Even the door handles turned to gold as he grasped them. His joy knew no bounds. He was now the wealthiest man not just in Phrygia, but in the entire world. But as the day wore on, Midas began to realize the terrible nature of his blessing. When he tried to wash his hands, the water turned to liquid gold. Still, he didn't grasp the full implications until mealtime arrived. As he reached for a piece of bread, it transformed into a golden loaf, too hard to chew. The meat on his plate became a golden sculpture. Even the wine, as it touched his lips, turned to molten gold. Hunger gnawed at him. Thirst parched his throat. In some versions of the myth, the horror reaches its peak when Midas accidentally turns his beloved daughter into a golden statue with a mere touch. Panicked and desperate, Midas fell to his knees, his hands raised to the heavens. "Oh, Dionysus!" he cried out. "Forgive me, I have erred grievously. Please, I beg you, release me from this curse that I so foolishly desired." Dionysus, moved by the king's genuine remorse, appeared before Midas. "Your lesson has been learned. To rid yourself of this gift, journey to the source of the river Pactolus. There, plunge your head and body into its waters. The river will wash away your golden touch." Without delay, Midas set out for the river. Finding its source, he immersed himself in the frigid waters. As he did so, he could see golden flakes washing away from his body, carried downstream by the current. From that day forward, the Pactolus became known for the gold found in its sands. Midas returned to his kingdom, a changed man. He renounced his former greed and lived a more moderate life. But this is not where his story ends. In another famous myth, Midas appears once again, this time as a devotee of Pan, the rustic god of nature. Having abandoned his wealth and kingdom after the Golden Touch incident, Midas now wandered the wilderness with Pan. One day, Pan boasted that his music was superior even to that of Apollo, the god of music himself. Word of this boast reached Apollo's ears, and a contest was arranged. The mountain god Tmolus was chosen as the judge. Pan played his pipes, producing rustic melodies that echoed through the forests. Then Apollo took up his lyre, and the air filled with music so divine that all who heard it were entranced. Tmolus declared Apollo the victor, and all present agreed, all except Midas. Perhaps out of loyalty to Pan, or perhaps due to his own poor judgment, Midas questioned Tmolus's decision openly. Apollo, enraged by this mortal's audacity, decided Midas needed to be taught another lesson. If your ears cannot recognize divine music, then perhaps they should be changed to better suit your tastes. With a wave of his hand, Apollo transformed Midas's ears into those of a donkey. Horrified and ashamed, Midas tried to hide his donkey ears beneath a large purple turban. For months, he managed to keep his deformity a secret from everyone except his barber. Midas swore the barber to secrecy on pain of death, but secrets have a way of demanding to be told. The barber, unable to contain himself any longer, went out to a deserted field. There, he dug a hole and whispered into it, "King Midas has donkey's ears." Feeling relieved, he filled in the hole and went home. However, a grove of reeds soon grew from that spot. When the wind blew through them, they whispered the barber's secret, "King Midas has donkey's ears. King Midas has donkey's ears." Soon, the secret was known far and wide, and Midas could no longer hide his shame. These myths of Midas serve as more than mere entertainment. They carry deep moral and philosophical implications that have resonated through the ages. First and foremost, the tale of the Golden Touch is a cautionary story about the dangers of greed and the pursuit of excessive wealth. Midas, already the richest man in Phrygia, wanted more. His insatiable desire for gold ultimately brought him to the brink of starvation. This serves as a powerful metaphor for how the single-minded pursuit of wealth can lead one to neglect the truly important things in life: family, health, and simple pleasures like food and drink. The myth also reflects Greek attitudes towards the kingdoms of the East. To the ancient Greeks, Eastern rulers were often seen as excessively wealthy and prone to hubris. By portraying Midas, a Phrygian king, as being punished for his greed and poor judgment, the Greeks were asserting their own cultural values of moderation and wisdom. This idea of balance and measure in life was central to Greek philosophy. The concept of nothing in excess was inscribed at the Temple of Apollo at Delphi. Furthermore, the myth serves as a critique of materialism. Midas learns the hard way that material wealth, even in its most extreme form, cannot satisfy the basic needs of life. Gold cannot quench thirst or satiate hunger. This lesson encourages us to reflect on what truly matters in life and what genuinely brings happiness. If you enjoyed this mythical journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more legendary tales. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What would your Midas touch be?